fresh out the box.
Fresh California plums.
Welcome to another episode of Fresh Film Fridays, the podcast where two dudes pick the newest films, streaming or in theaters, and discuss them. Today we are talking about 2022's Barbarian, which was directed by Zach Cregger. I'm your co-host, Alec.
Oh, I'm Eric. Just kidding, it's Justin. And today we have with a special guest, Jack Baca.
Hello.
He's Baca.
He's back.
I'll be right back.
Yeah, dude, welcome back. You were on a long time ago, dude, for Back to the Future with Eric and I last summer, I think, right?
That is true. Yeah, and then there's an episode that didn't air where we did Toy Story 4.
That's right. And Eric, he was really talking about like cryptocurrency and we're like, Eric, talk about the movie, and it was weird.
Yeah, it was a mess.
But yeah, we had to scrap that episode. But yeah, so you did Back to the Future with us, you did Home Alone with us, and now you're back for a brand new movie, a horror movie. You don't like horror movies.
I don't not like them. I wouldn't say that I'm a fan of horror films, but this one was okay.
Dude, I loved this movie. I loved it. I mean, I just thought it was so refreshing, so different, so new. Just, it was funny, it was scary, it was everything. So I loved it. Justin, you said you had some problems with it.
Let me start off by prefacing that I thoroughly enjoyed the movie. Okay. There were parts of it that were like legitimately scary, even though there were a lot of horror tropes that like we knew were going to happen. Like when you have a victim holding a flashlight, you know what's going to happen, and it was still scary. Yeah. But I wrote down, because I know you're like, I'm gonna rebuke all your problems with it. Some of the problems with that I had is it's completely unrealistic for like real life purposes.
Like what part do you mean? Like what do you mean?
Well, I broke it up into the three sections because I knew you would ask. One is the house itself. 2, the characters repeatedly going into the house, and 3, the monster. So we can attack this however you'd like.
Okay. Well, before we start doing that, because I think we're gonna naturally move into all that stuff. How did you hear about this, Justin? Because you're the one that told me.
Yeah.
And then Jack, Ryan, and I all saw it last night.
So I was at the theaters last week, and I finally saw Bullet Train with Brad Pitt.
Dude, is that good?
Yeah, it was sick, dude. If you want to see Brad Pitt just like fuck up other assassins, this is it. And this movie came on as one of the trailers, and I was like, this looks terrifying. And I saw Bill Skarsgård. It said by the creators of It, and I was like, this could be a good movie to review. Yeah,
it was produced by the same guys that produced the It 2017. Yeah, dude. I mean, this is one of the first times, and I think it was the same for you, Jack, but I didn't know anything about this movie. I didn't see the trailer. I didn't see who was in it. I didn't look up who directed it. I knew it was a horror movie, and I saw the poster, and that was it.
Right before I left, I would the people that were staying at my house were like, "What are you going to see?" And I was like, "I think it's that like a new version of Conan." And I think that one guy from like the I'm a Swimmer guy movie is in it, or what, Aquaman I think might be in it. Like I thought that's what it was, and then I got there and like within the first 20 minutes I was like, "That's not this movie."
Yeah. So the movie ended, and you were like, "Where's Jason Momoa?"
Yeah, I was like, "Wait a minute,
this movie sucks."
So did you just think it was kind of like Rambo, but it's like John Rambo, and this one was just like Barbarian? So
that's what I thought. Like from the title alone, I was like, "This is gonna be tight. There's gonna be swords. There's gonna be at least a titty scene. It's gonna be good."
There was a titty scene in this.
There was
a lot.
No,
there was a lot.
Are there? I don't know. Like, if somebody's listening, like they've seen it already.
Oh, we're ruining this movie.
Okay, well then yes, there is a titty, but it's pretty gross.
Oh yeah, it's disgusting. But titties are titties. Titties are titties.
That's true. The worst titty I ever saw was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Even that one was like, all right, drink the milk, dude.
Oh my god,
that's what they did. And like Justin Long was so against it. He was like, I'm not drinking it, and I was like, dude, just fucking.
I mean, he's locked in a cave, and she was like a monster with sharp teeth, like forcing her dirty boob in his mouth.
Okay. Actually, since we are going to ruin this, since I always give the plot summary, Justin, would you like to give the plot summary?
I'll do the honors. So basically, there's this house. I think it's in Detroit. It's an Airbnb.
Yeah.
And this woman, Tess, has an interview there. There's a convention, there's a medical convention, so there's no hotel rooms available. So she gets this last minute Airbnb. There's been a scheduling conflict, and Bill Skarsgård is there. They find out that there's a hidden door in the basement, and then it gets pretty crazy.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely the setup for it.
That's the movie I saw, at least.
Yeah, it's one of those films that, I mean, I've seen a lot of horror movies, but this one, it just completely subverts your expectation constantly. You never know where it's going, and right when you think you have an idea of like, oh, I bet like this is gonna happen, no, it's never what anybody thinks is gonna happen.
I couldn't agree with you more. Like, I was trying to figure it out. I was trying to make Skarsgård the bad guy, and I was like, well, what? And then I thought for a minute that maybe I was like, no, they're gonna flip it. The girl's gonna be the bad guy. So what evidence have we had for her to be the bad guy? Mm-hmm. And there wasn't a single moment in that movie till basically the climax that I was like, I know what's going on.
Yeah. Did you feel that way, Justin?
Yeah, I mean, I watched one of those reviews, and I always forget his name, Jeremy something on YouTube, the guy with the slick back hair and the leather jacket. Super vague review, but basically he said, like, up until you find out the monster, like, you don't know who's bad. They purposely made Bill Skarsgård a little sketchy. Mm-hmm. So, you're kind of like, oh, he's being a little weird, but you don't really know what's going on.
I think that was the whole thing. I think it was like, they set you up to think that just because, man, that's a fucked way to say it. Just like this guy is like, he's just a guy. He's just existing. But you want him to be the bad guy. And then they gave you Justin Long, and it was like, no, he's a rapist. He's a terrible piece of shit. They gave you the bad guy, but they wanted you to think that this guy was, and I really did. I was like, man, yeah, what's fucked with this guy? But it ended up, they gave it to you.
Alec, let me ask you a question. Yeah. Why did the movie make it a point to zoom in on every doorknob that she was locking? But then, if she's so anal about it, why did she not lock her bedroom door?
I love live events, but I hate buying tickets. The hidden fees suck, and coordinating with friends is a nightmare. I always end up fronting a bunch of money and then chasing down my friends to get reimbursed. And if they flake, I'm stuck with the whole bill. But then I discovered Fanimal. Fanimal has tickets to everything, and there are no fees. The price you see is the price you pay. Not only are the prices transparent, but they're almost always lower than anywhere else I look. And for any hot tickets, like Lollapalooza, or a Dodgers game, or a weekend concert, Fanimal is always the cheapest option. Nobody goes to live events alone, so why buy tickets alone? Fanimal's patented group purchase makes it easy. First, you set a minimum size for your group, and choose the number of tickets you want to pay for yourself. Then you invite friends. When the minimum size is met, everyone gets charged and receives their tickets. If the minimum size isn't reached in time, nobody gets charged. You don't commit until your friends do. And Fanimal has amazing customer service. Check out their hundreds of 5-star reviews. The next time you need tickets, go to Fanimal.com or download the Fanimal app and sign up with code HORROR for $20 of credit towards your first purchase. Check out Fanimal and experience more.
I think because she was comfortable, like, I think they set that up with, like, he wore her down, like, and I think that all goes back to, like, where your boundaries are as a person in a one-on-one relationship with somebody, because there's the right way to do it, which is the way Skarsgård did it. He was very polite, and then there's the wrong way to do it, which is the Justin Long. He said that she said no at first, and he kept going, but he's a bad guy. But that's exactly what happened with Skarsgård. She said no at first, and he kept trying, but he didn't do anything wrong. He was just like, hey, I actually thought about it, and I was going to open this in front of you. So you're like, I'm just trying to impress you. Like, I think that's why.
Yeah, but it's like you have to keep your guard up at all times, because like even though he's trying to be a good guy, maybe he is just doing this to make her feel comfortable, to lure her in, and then do something terrible.
That's what I was thinking the whole time.
Yeah, that's what's so great about this movie is like every single line of dialogue, every glance, every shot, you're like, it's a gray area. I don't know what's going on. And it could be a good guy. He could just be a normal guy, or he could be a murderous rapist. Like, we don't know.
I was certain that he was the bad guy. And then I really tried to convince myself that the girl was. And I tried to find reasons, and I couldn't. And then by the time, and I was thinking that the whole time, and then by the time, then they introduced the thing, and it was like, yeah.
Yeah. I just want you to know, Alec, that I thought of you when she was going down into the basement for the second time, which we can touch on how absurd this is later.
It was.
And she was like, what was his name in the movie? Ken?
Keith.
She was like, Keith,
come here, Keith.
And you'd hear him.
Please.
And they haven't known each other 24 hours. And Alec, like, I've known you since I was 12. And if you were in there and you were like, Justin, help, I'd be like, ain't no fucking way, dude.
I mean, yeah.
Even if I had my pistol, I'd be like, ain't no
I'm not going
way,
down there.
dude.
Not for my best friend in the world.
Well, that's why it's scary, dude, because, like, she can't go down. I mean, she does go down there, but she shouldn't. And then she calls the police, and they're not coming, you know?
That's another issue I have is the police in this movie. I know it's
I
like
think
Detroit.
that's real. I think that probably the police in Detroit are that's probably pretty factually accurate.
Yeah.
I think maybe them coming to the location, but you're telling me, like, even in Detroit, if a woman comes up,
yes,
even if it's in a homeless area and says, I've literally been kidnapped,
yes,
and then they go to the crime scene and the glass is outwards. It's outwards.
Well,
yes.
I think Ryan might have actually came up with a solution for that too. Maybe he said this to us. I can't remember, Jack, last night. But didn't Ryan say, well, maybe they're aware, like the police are aware that there's some fucking crazy shit going down this neighborhood, and they don't want to acknowledge it?
That's fair.
They don't want to go down there.
They don't want to go down there.
This movie had so many things to say about social situations that I wouldn't be surprised if that was one of them.
I kind of picked up on that with it had like when the car drove off and it kind of looked at like the white cop's face. I was like, I wonder if they know.
Well, I thought Ryan said that, but I can't remember. But I feel like somebody told me that, he thought that basically, like, because the homeless guy knows about this lady, so people probably know about this area, that there's this fucking monster that lives there, and they're like, you know what? This is not worth getting, like, all of our resources together to go down there, find out what is going on.
Today is not the day we solve the crazy white lady story.
This cop's like, I do not make enough to go down there.
Yeah, it's right. And they were getting other calls. Not that I'm like sympathizing with these cops that did the wrong thing.
Yeah, but you could look at even that two ways. You could look at it like three ways even. The cops are underfunded, or they genuinely don't give a shit, or they're actually terrified and they don't want to participate in this.
I think it's like a mix of all of those things that made it a terrible situation.
They could use that for the next, like, governor election. They could be like, we need more funding to hire more cops to kill that monster thing.
Yeah. He runs on that. That's his platform.
No,
he's like, we're going to
monster.
get rid of the monster.
Well, because seriously, like, that neighborhood, it was nice, and now there's a monster lady.
Yeah. That's a politician's wet dream. They're like, God, we need a crazy monster to run against.
We need more cops, and we need less monster ladies.
So there you go. So, I mean, I don't know. So the cops thing, obviously, Justin, like, it's a horror movie. Most people don't go downstairs when they hear screaming. And also, he's a complete stranger. Like, sorry, Keith, you shouldn't have gone down there.
There were just a lot of small issues I had with it, like not including the horror tropes. Like, for example, if she trusted Keith, like you're saying, Jack, and he said, I didn't open your door, and she knows she didn't open the door. So she either trusts him or someone else opened the door. Me personally, and I think anyone on this planet, if she had to leave for that interview, she would take all her shit and not come back.
Okay. Yes, probably. But let's also say this. Let's say you're in an Airbnb, okay? And I've stayed in places where you lock the door.
You've stayed in Baghdad before, like that area?
No.
Yeah,
no,
you remember Baghdad?
No, I've stayed in Airbnbs or whatever, but I've also stayed, a family member's house or whatever. You don't know the house that well. You can lock a door, like press the lock in on a door, and still it doesn't lock. It just, the wind could blow it open or whatever. Like, that does happen. It does happen.
I think that's a good point. If you had a genuine experience with another human and then the door was open, I mean, like, you would give them the benefit of the doubt.
And at a house that you don't know anything about it.
Okay, so let's say for some reason the wind blew the lock unlock and the door came open. All right?
No. All right, but Justin, think about this. Hold on. I know what you're thinking, but like, imagine the door. We don't see what the lock looks like, I don't think. Imagine it's one of those ones that is in the middle of the knob and you push it in or whatever, and then you shut the door. Okay. Now, those don't always catch. Like, they don't, and especially if you don't know this house, you don't know this lock. If it's one of the ones you turn physically, yes, of course, that one's not going to be blown open. But I swear to God, I've stayed at houses where you push those locks in, you shut the door, and then all of a sudden, the door just, whatever, pops open. Like, another door opens, which forces that door to open.
You got to stop saying it haunted houses. Like, that's step one.
It's possible you stayed at houses with monsters in the basement.
Sure.
But, so say the doorknob thing. But then she left to go to this interview, and it looked like literally you should not be in this area.
Yeah.
And then she went back to the area.
I think she liked Keith. She had a crush on Keith at that point. She was looking
Yeah,
at
but
his picture.
what's wrong with that? He was a very charming man.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's why she went back, because Keith left the note being like, I'll see you tonight. And she's like, you know what? This guy is very interested in what I'm interested in. I find him attractive, clearly, because she's looking at his picture of the license later in the day. And she's like, dude, she likes him.
That's how you know you got it bad. You're looking at their license picture like...
She's like, I just got a job. I'm going to let Keith ruin me.
So, no, that's what I'm saying. I think she went back specifically because she's like, I actually really like Keith, and I want to keep this going. And then all hell breaks loose, you know? She should have left, Justin, you're right. But if Keith and her didn't hit it off... Dude, they were about to fuck. They were.
It was a little awkward.
If he was a little bit better, and I mean, I'm not either. Like, I'm not saying that like I possess those abilities, but I mean, like, if he was almost there. Like, he almost got it.
Yeah. He was a little like creepily persistent. Like when that awkward moment where he was in the room.
It was cute. He was cute. Cutely persistent.
Was it?
Yeah, I think so.
I was kind of like, it's time to go.
He's overly nice.
He was I just like you guys, I didn't believe it either. I was like, this guy's fucked. He's going to lock her in a basement. He's going to film her doing something weird. But like, it turned out he was just a nice guy.
Okay, also, another huge issue I had with it. I don't care if I've known you my whole life or I've literally never met you before. If we're in a building and you come frantically crying up to me and you're like, there's a fucking room in the basement, and there's a bloody handprint on the wall and a bucket and a camera, we gotta get out of here. I would not be like, no, I need to see
that for myself.
Yeah.
There is no part of me, even if the SWAT team was behind me and they're like, yeah, we're ready to go, we're gonna clear the room for you, I'd be like, I'm not going in there.
No, I believe you. I 100% believe you, and I'm not going down there.
I agree. I totally that I agree with.
Yeah.
But, you know, the other thing, Justin, I will say another thing that kind of was like, this was a little much, is when Tess goes back to the house after the interview and the homeless guy's like, little girl, come here, little girl, and is running after her. I'm like, that guy wouldn't be saying that if he's actually trying to help her. Like, that's creepy.
Yeah, he was just trying to keep her out. Like, he would just be like, ma'am, don't go in that house. It's not safe. He was like, I'm going to get you.
Nothing he could have said that would
come to Papa.
No, but Jack, he runs to the door and is like banging on the door. Like,
what do you yell at a woman to make her feel comfortable? Tell me that, and then I'll believe you.
But you say, excuse me, miss. Excuse me. Excuse me, miss.
No, that's
Jack.
even worse.
He ran at her. Was like, come here, little girl. I was like chasing her to the door.
There's nothing you can yell at a woman to make her feel comfortable.
Alec expects the Detroit homeless to just have super good manners. Like, excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah, like they're just like, they're stuck in the 20s over there.
Could I impose on you?
Would you mind if I picked your brain for just one moment?
There's a big titty demon in the basement.
You're telling me this homeless person, right, lives 3 minutes down the road from a monster he knows exists, and he's like, oh, she just roams the premises. It's not like you have anything to stay there for. Why would you stay there?
Well, he lives by the tower. That's
forget a new fucking tower.
I don't know. It does. She didn't bother him till she killed him.
I mean, Justin, to be fair, if I were that homeless guy, I'd be like, I'm getting as far the fuck away from this neighborhood as possible. That was probably the only part of the movie that I would kind of rolled my eyes at, was when they like recreated the Samuel Jackson death from Deep Blue Sea.
Wait a minute.
He was like, I'm tired of these sharks, and then the shark kills him.
No, because in that movie,
that's essentially what happened.
You're saying you didn't roll your eyes when Justin Long went down all 40 stairs backwards measuring the steps?
I thought that was hilarious.
Oh, that was hilarious.
That no one would do that.
No, but that's why it's funny.
Of course, that's what was funny about it.
Yeah. Because Justin, like, of course, that's the thing. He's so delusional, and he's such a pompous ass.
He's an LA piece of shit.
He's not even thinking about his own safety. He's not thinking about anything bad happening to him.
I could use some extra square footage.
Justin, that was hilarious, and that played into his character. That's how that guy would act, Justin.
I don't think I would like the movie as much if he didn't do that.
Like, Justin, let me ask you a question. You like Entourage, that show, right?
Yes.
Okay, you know Ari Gold?
I do.
How do you think he would handle that situation?
I mean, these are fictional characters.
Exactly. This isn't a documentary. Yeah. This is a fictional movie.
Literally the idea of this entire podcast.
If you saw a dog cage with a bowl in it, clearly meant for not dogs, I mean, why is no one freaked out by this stuff?
He was blinded by his earning potential.
Yeah. He was like, what the fuck is that? Oh, whatever. Like, literally, that's the point. Like, you see the juxtaposition of, like, he's a complete asshole, and everybody else questions that.
I didn't think he was at first. Like, I really, like, at first, I don't know. I know this is fucked up, but I was like, I don't know, did he rape that gal, or is there going to be something that comes out where he didn't and she's the bad guy? And again, this goes to the, like, I had no idea what was going on the whole time, but then it turned out that he was a huge piece of shit. And then I think as soon as there was that bar scene where he was explaining it to his friend, I was like, nah, yeah, this guy sucks.
That was it.
Yeah, but he had a moment to learn it, and that was my favorite part of the movie. It was when they're on the top of the tower, and I think his literal dialogue is, I have nowhere else to go. If she wants us, she has us. There's nothing I can do. And it's like, that's rape. And he had the opportunity to understand that. And at first, I was very upset because I was like, are they going to let this rapist, learn a lesson and then become a good guy? That's not fair. But then he doesn't at all. He, throws the gal off the thing, and he's a piece of shit, and then he dies. And I was like, good.
Okay. That I had a little bit of a problem with, too, because...
You think that's out of his character to throw her off?
No, that was in character. But my problem was, why would the demon lady sacrifice herself to save Tess after Tess just slammed her car into the demon lady and smashed her into the door?
Have you ever had a child before?
So if your kid attempts to kill you, you're still
that's her baby, dude. That's her fucking baby.
For 2 days.
Have you never, if my baby hit me with a car and ran me into the thing because they thought I was a monster, but really all I'm trying to do is give him my sweet titty milk, I would still love that baby till it died.
Yeah, Alec, you're also trying to, have this super inbred monster that hasn't seen sunlight or been taught anything. Understand logic. It doesn't understand.
Wait a minute.
No, but it knows that Justin Long is bad, but it doesn't know that Tess hit.
I don't think it takes a monster to understand that Justin Long was we can get rid of him, but she just wanted a baby.
Yeah.
And the one girl was very apt to do so. You remember in the scene when they're in the little pit? And that Justin won't drink the titty milk, but she hugs up next to her. She very much played the part of baby. So that monster had adopted her as baby. And I think that the motherly instinct, is something that's on display at this point, where she's going to do whatever it takes to save that baby, regardless, even if you run me over with a Subaru or whatever it was.
Yeah, no, I guess so. I guess I need to have kids to understand.
But yeah, can you explain? So the father was capturing women.
Yes.
Having kids with them, having kids with those kids, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
How does even a super duper inbred child have 7-foot monster size and have superhuman strength?
Have you ever had an inbred child?
Okay.
First of all, yeah. That's how it works.
Justin, they don't explain that, but maybe... Yeah, I don't know. This episode of the podcast is brought to you by Bard's Clothing. Here's the honest truth. The days of "Hi, my name is" are over. We live in a virtual world, and our images are being shared on social media and professional pages every day. So with over 1,000 fabrics to choose from, Bard's Clothing is here to tell your story through clothing. Make sure the image you want people to see is the one that you're sending, because by the time you get face-to-face, their mind might already be made up. Quality clothing, all made here in America. Head on over to www.bardsclothing.com and follow them on Instagram @bardsclothing.
Why does no one make sure these monsters are dead? Justin Long, before even checking on her, should have shot that thing in the head.
Well, he's a bad shot, and I think they displayed that with that he shot her.
And he dropped the gun.
Yeah, he was dude, you and I, know as well as I do. Dude, you either know how to shoot a gun or you don't, and that guy didn't.
Yeah, Justin Long probably has never shot a gun before, and he dropped it. The second he pulled that out, he's like, oh, yeah, I have a gun.
If you don't hold it right, the kickback's going to throw it right out of your hands. He just wasn't experienced with a weapon, and bingo bongo, he's an asshole.
Justin Long does play an asshole in this, but I gotta say, man, he is, a really good in horror movies.
Dude, he's just a good actor. That's all there is to it.
I really like him. I mean, obviously, this is, the worst movie for, his actual character, but, dude, he's a great actor. And, Justin, you ready for this? Pride of Connecticut.
Is he really from Connecticut?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's from Fairfield.
Good for him.
Good for him.
I don't think it makes you a bad actor if you play bad guys.
No, I think it makes you a great actor if you can play, Waiting, the waiter from Waiting, and be hilarious and then be in this. But have you guys seen any of his other horror movies?
Yeah, it was in Jeepers Creepers.
Was he?
Yeah, Jeepers Creepers was probably his first, but Tusk.
I'm not a horror film guy. I don't know. I love Justin Long. Maybe now this is the final bridge that'll make me like horror movies. Like, what else was he in? What should I watch? What is your recommendation as the first Justin Long horror movie that I should watch?
Tusk.
Is it about an elephant?
I won't ruin it.
Okay, good. Yeah,
It sounds unbelievable, but it's a Kevin Smith movie. Kevin Smith wrote and directed it. It is a horror movie. But we got Justin Long, Haley Joel Osment, Johnny Depp, and
damn.
Yeah, dude, it's a great cast. Yeah, check it out.
Okay, Tusk. I'm in. I'm gonna watch it tonight.
Dude, it's fucking terrifying, but yeah, it's great. Anyways, Justin Long absolutely killing it with the horror, and then obviously Bill Skarsgård coming off of It and into this.
It was fun to see him as like a normal guy.
Yeah.
But I did see him as like I kept trying to make him Pennywise in my head. Like I was like, oh yeah, that is him. But like it was cool to see him as like a normal guy.
Right? Yeah. He was really awkward, but he did a good job. And the lead actress, I mean, I would say it's her movie, Georgina
She did a great
Campbell.
job.
She was amazing, but
yeah.
I cannot remember what I've seen her in.
I don't think anything. I think this is it. Introducing.
No. She's been in a ton of stuff, dude. She's been acting since 2010.
I don't know.
Let's see.
Yeah, I'm looking her up right now. She was in an episode of Black Mirror, and that's what I think is the one that I saw her in.
Oh, yeah. She's in the... Oh, my God. I'm a piece of shit.
Oh, she's younger than us? Oh,
God. I know, right? Doesn't it make you feel like, just like, God damn it.
I suck.
No.
No,
she's 41.
No, she's 30, dude. She's really young. But, you know, another interesting thing, the director and writer of this movie is...
Whitest Kids You Know.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really know that much about Whitest Kids You Know, but, like, they're a comedy troupe that was based out of New York, and they were just, you know, very funny in the early 2000s and stuff like that. But, dude, I love so much how all of these great horror films nowadays are being written and directed by people that had their start in comedy. I mean, you got Jordan Peele, you've got this guy, Zach Cregger, you have Danny McBride writing the Halloween trilogy that's out right now. Like,
well, what do you think that's about? Do you think it's because there isn't anything left to scare us? And, like, you have to have comedy in your scary movie?
I think people are too afraid to do comedies anymore. I think that's it.
Oh, there's still good comedies.
Yeah, but one movie can just ruin you.
Name one good film comedy that's come out in the last 3 years.
Okay. I don't know. I'm not prepared, but let me think about it. When did The Notebook come out? That was pretty
Notebook?
Funny.
The Note.
2004?
Yeah. The Notebook. That's
with
finally...
Rachel McAdams?
Yeah. That was hilarious.
I mean, I genuinely don't think there's been an actual comedy film besides like Jackass and Borat that are like those, like not found footage though. Like
no, there's funny movies that come out. Oh no, they're all from our childhood. I was like, my first thing was like, I was like, well, when did Old School come out? It's like, oh my God, that was like 30 years ago.
So all these comedy guys are going into horror because they're like, hey, I love horror movies and I can't make comedies anymore. So,
but like, look how tropey this movie was, and it almost like. Look, dead flashlight, car doesn't start, don't go in there. It's all in there. But like it was carried by the comedy. And like, I don't know. I think like maybe that's just a new way to do horror. It made the scarier parts scary because I was busy laughing and then all of a sudden it was like, oh shit, the titty lady.
The basement door that just somehow keeps closing. And she goes back down there again and doesn't hold the door open.
Brony, like you've seen that movie. You've seen that movie 100 times. You know not to go in there. You know your car's not going to start. Like it must be difficult for a horror film creator to find something to scare you, and to include comedy in that. I think is just part of it. I think that's really funny to like keep you off your guard. Like, hey, here's Justin Long. He's hilarious, and then guess what? Oh, scary, and then like that gets you.
Yeah, I mean, I think comedy and horror always do go well together. I think this was more horror than comedy, though.
Yeah, certainly, yeah. And it worked. And I didn't like the 2 jump scares in the beginning. I thought those were cheap.
Which ones?
There's like one where like it's not like he's standing right next to her, and then all that happens is the camera changes angles, and it goes like, and it's like, oh my God, okay, thank you.
He's just standing there, and he's like, whoa, sorry.
Yeah, nothing scary happened, and it was like, fucking jump scares. These are so dumb.
Yeah, I know. They're becoming less frequent, though, I feel like.
Well, they used them in this one. This is a tropey movie. I can't not say that this is a very tropey movie, but I think it leans on it, like, before Justin Long comes in. It's, like, very tropey, and then it redeems itself afterwards.
Yeah, but Alec, let me run one last scenario by you to see what your explanation is. So, all these people, the people who stay at this Airbnb, die.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not leaving reviews. So this is theoretically a reviewless Airbnb, but we'll say for horror movie purposes that this people need a last minute spot to stay, so they're not worried about 5-star reviews. But
It's Detroit.
when whatever her name was, Barbara or whatever, the property manager lady, said the maids only come before like the next people stay. You're telling me these maids haven't been like, manager lady, like every time we go to clean the house, like people just leave all their stuff in their car here.
No, they clear that up in the movie.
How?
They hadn't had a booking, is what she said. Because he was like, wait, the maid didn't see the things? And she was like, we haven't had a booking in 2 weeks.
Well, yeah, but before that, what happened in 2 weeks ago?
I don't think that, like, Titty Lady is killing every single guest.
Yeah.
I think that she just happened to find that pull rope thing, and these people happen to be in the, I don't think it's been...
Okay.
I think they've just been down there.
She goes out at night. She goes out throughout the neighborhood at night. So I don't think she's waiting for people at the house. I think she just lives down there, and these people went into her lair.
Well, she does explore the house, though, because remember the basement door was open at night, like you saw it close.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So maybe she was just getting water for her dad, but I don't know. Either way.
Like, let's assume, like, yeah, obviously she's an inbred, like, she's not all there or whatever, but, like...
She's not all there.
Well, she's not. I mean, but...
She might be.
Well...
Come on. It's 2022. Who
It's
knows?
pretty shallow of you, man, to assume that a
Jesus, Alec.
60th time inbred person who has no formal education lives in a
woman.
cave.
She must be stupid.
Oh, my God. That's not what I said. No, I'm just saying that, she probably, maybe she is a little bit like, I'm going to wait it out, see what these guys do. If they come down here, I'm going to kill them. But otherwise, I don't know, we'll see. But basically, the other part we haven't really touched on is like the third act, which is about that guy who goes and just collects like women and brings them back to his house and like digs a tunnel.
The origin
underground.
story without having to have an origin story. Yeah, I thought that was really cool that they put that in there because it explained things. Because like that's all you're asking for the entire movie is like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, here, this.
Yeah, he would go in, unlock their windows, probably come back at night, take them, and have kids with them.
Oh my God, that's like the scariest thing in the world.
And then have kids with their kids. There's a Rick and Morty episode that's almost exactly this.
Jeez. But then the tapes, but here's the thing: why does he kill himself? I know it's probably because he's like, there's gonna be cops swarming this place and all that stuff. But like, why didn't he shoot Justin Long? Do you think he has that much remorse now that he would kill himself?
Well, I think he took Justin Long at his word. And like Justin Long was saying, like, there's gonna be cops here. I called everybody. Like, he didn't do any of that stuff. He was just trying to appease this other victim, so he thought. Yeah. And he was saying the cops are here, they're swarming the building, and so he took him at his word and was like, "Oh shit, the cops are here. Well, I don't want to deal with that, and I'm basically dying in this bed, so sayonara, dude." And then
That's a good point.
Yeah,
because if he did get caught, could you imagine, dude?
Well, yeah, it didn't seem like he had much of a life left anyway, but yeah, it probably wouldn't be. I can't imagine it would be better than like sitting around watching cartoons, which is probably what he was doing.
I think he was watching his
He was watching the tapes, his work on rerun.
Dude, that's so
man, that's fucked up. You're right.
Redhead from gas station.
My innocent brain was like, yeah, he's probably just watching cartoons, sitting around, smoking weed. No, that's what I would do.
He's like, I'm going to watch this episode of Rick and Morty and then this chick from the 80s that I raped.
No, he was watching the fucking shitty... Oh, fuck, you're right. That's gross.
But it also gets into like the whole Detroit like falling apart because of the auto industry and like the neighbors are leaving and that guy's is like, I ain't going anywhere, like that.
Like, I'm gonna create a basement monster.
I think it says a lot. Like it almost was too much that it said politically. Almost it was like, yeah, I know rape is bad, but this movie was like rape's bad. I was like, yeah, I know.
Yeah. What if the demon child is America's political corruptness?
Oh my God.
The house is the auto industry.
I mean, this movie is. I need to see it again. I mean, I'm sure there's so many little.
Let's go
things.
see it again. What are you doing tomorrow?
Maybe. And I am off tomorrow, but
let's do
it. I feel like there's so many little moments that I missed, and I'd like to just kind of revisit and just be like, oh, I missed that the first time, and blah blah blah.
I thought it was cool. Like, anytime you see a movie, you go to the bathroom afterwards. And sometimes I'm in there and I'm peeing and I'm like, fucking that sucked. But this time I was thinking about the movie the whole time. I was like, God damn, what the fuck is it?
Yeah. I mean, Also, I literally was going to piss my pants because we saw it.
Yeah, you did. You bolted out of there afterwards.
Dude, the second the credits, I was running. But the song, dude, the end song is like Be My Baby or whatever. I was like, oh, that's such a good song to end this on. Love that. And then also, I really loved in the flashback scene, they never say like 1980 whatever. But it was clear that it was the early 80s.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but they're playing Heat of the Moment by Asia. That song came out in 1982.
I was actually thinking about that when that happened, and I was like, this is either like 78 or 81. And then they said on the radio, Reagan had just got elected. And I was like, all right, here we are. I know where we are.
So it's I love that there's little tidbits so you understand. Also, if you look at the license plate, it shows the 19 and then 80 something right there. So I was like, oh,
I didn't catch that.
Yeah, so really, dude, just goddamn, I really fucking like this movie. Like one of the best horror movies I've seen in a while.
I don't even like scary movies, and I like this movie just as a movie.
Well, Justin, do you have any holes that you want to present, or do you want to start doing our ratings?
No, I just periodically presented them. I mean, unless Tess was like an angel, I don't know why she'd go in the house 3 times.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
But anyway, yes, it got a 7.7 on IMDb. What would you guys give it?
Jack?
Gosh, as a person who doesn't really like, I'm not a horror genre guy. I went to a movie with my friends. I had a great time, and I'm going to give it an 8, a solid 8. 8 right on the nose.
You took the number right out of my mouth. I was going 8 as well. Yeah. Honestly, I really think this is the best horror movie I've seen this year. I think X is a close second, Justin. I really liked X. And also, we saw the trailer for Pearl, which is the prequel to X, which we definitely going to cover. But, dude, of this year so far, new horror movies, I think this is it. Sorry, Nope. I'm sorry.
Ocho.
Yeah, I was going to go 8 as well. It was...
Jeez, you give a lot of shit for an 8, dude.
I told you, it was a good movie. It just... There's a lot of unbelievable scenes in horror movies, and this one had a lot of unbelievable...
It was tropey. It was very tropey.
Yeah, but to Jack's point, like, even though the director said, like, hey, listen, it's been done before, let's try and just add something extra to the tropes, which I think they did a good job with.
Yeah, agreed.
Let me ask you this, though, Justin. You like Fast and the Furious movies.
Who doesn't, dude? Yummy, Tokyo!
Do you like them because they're realistic, or are you sitting there being like, Charlize Theron would not drive a submarine through space and crash?
Okay, we've gone over this before. I only like the first 2, and the first one, if you've seen it, is actually realistic. Like, they race. In the 6th one, they're like, we're going to Mars in our Mustang. Like, that's for entertainment purposes.
Is that real? Did they
we're
really
going to Mars in our Mustang.
They go to space. They go into space.
Oh, my God. Jesus Christ. I like the first one. The first one I watched, I think, pretty much every night when I was a teenager. It was,
Yeah. First one's realistic, so.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, anyways, I think, fucking great movie. Definitely go check it out. You will never know what's happening. If you've made it this far and haven't seen it, we just.
Well, now you know what happened.
Yeah.
Titties. There is definitely titties. You're going to maybe like this movie.
Yeah. If you like titties.
You're gonna not like titties anymore.
Well, Jack, thank you so much for joining us again and being here for a horror movie. First time.
Yeah, I feel good about it. I feel like I'm gonna go watch a horror movie right now. Which one should I watch?
Go watch Tusk.
I'm gonna go watch Tusk. That's what I'm doing.
Justin Long's the lead. He's the lead the whole movie, so you can really get your Justin Long fix.
Is that the one where he can't get into college, but then he does get into college, and then he makes his own college?
That's Accepted. But
nah, that's Tusk. Shut the fuck up, that's Tusk.
It's Tusk University.
Tusk University. I can't wait.
Everybody, thank you very much for listening into our discussion on Barbarian today. If you haven't had a chance yet, we released our episode on Sleepaway Camp 2, Unhappy Campers. You can check that out. And then this upcoming Monday, we have Jaws coming out. It's September. Who doesn't want to watch Jaws? Well, thank you very much, everybody, and we'll see you all next week with something fresh.